This is John T for the Boxing Voice. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by bantamweight prospect Carly Skelly. How are you, Carly?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Are you training today?
So I'm in this afternoon, so yeah, still got that to look forward to.
Excellent. So you found a bit of time for me this morning. First time we've had you on the site, so welcome. Before I come on to your sort of like next fight and actually the previous one, maybe you just want to tell us a bit about what got you into boxing.
Yeah, so basically I'd done a charity fight, and it's quite late on. I was 29 when I did that, and just fell in love with it. Loved the training and everything about it. So I ended up going to an amateur gym, North Mersey, where I'm still at now, and that was it. Then it just kind of went from there.
Excellent. So did you have many amateur fights?
I had 20 amateurs.
Okay, that's good. And how did you get on?
I think I'd won 15 more if you'd have said decisions would have gone your way. A few split decisions, but then.
Yeah, so good turnout then. Okay, good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, look, you're undefeated. I call you a prospect because you haven't had loads of fights, but you're already fighting for titles, and you've been on some big cards. So before we move to the next one, you were out recently on the Derek Chizora Alexander Usyk card. How was that for an event for you? It must have been very surreal.
Yeah, it was amazing. We were actually originally meant to be on like a smaller show somewhere in Manchester. So when I got the news that I was going to be on such a big show, it was brilliant, and the whole being in the bubble, being up there was really good, and then the fight itself, just being on such a platform, was amazing. And like you say, it's I'm still quite new, so still like learning to be on such a big show so soon. It's just amazing.
Did everybody treat you well in the bubble? Because obviously there would have been some like seasoned pros, Derek Chizora, for example, the entourage trainers. Did they look after you?
Yeah, everyone was amazing. It was lovely. It was a really good experience, to be honest. I actually, I think the first time I met Chizora, I was in the gym doing a training session, and somebody come in and asked if they could do like a little an interview. And he came in and was like, "Leave the girl alone while she's training." He only had his boxies on.
Good old Derek. Yeah, he's good for banter. At least he was looking out for you. Well, look, tell us about the fight on the night. You were fighting Amy Timlin, and it was a draw. The first draw, both of you were undefeated, and it was a draw on the night. I think both of you had one judge scoring it for your favour and one for her, and then the other one was a draw. How was the fight? What did you learn that night?
So I learned how to pace myself through a 10 rounder, because obviously I've only ever done 4-round fights before. So in itself, it was a good experience, knowing like how much you can go. I think maybe the early part of the fight I maybe reined it in a little bit, because obviously it is your first 10 rounds and being on such a platform, I was like, I don't want to go too much too soon and then blow up near the end. But yeah, so it was a great learning experience, knowing how to pace yourself. Obviously you've done it through sparring, but it's different in the fight when you've got them little 8-ounce gloves on, no head guards and stuff. So but I really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. Loved it.
Must have been really different for you. As you said, if you're going 10 rounds, it's like doing 2, maybe 3 fights instead of 1, and you've got all the cameras and that lights on you. So really interesting. What do you think Amy might do, if she will do anything different for this fight? Have you planned for anything different?
I always plan for something different anyway, because you never know. Even if it's the same opponent, it could be a completely different opponent in the night on what she brings. So we're working on loads. I'm very versatile in what I do. Obviously, I like to come forward, and that's my style, but there's more to me. With Amy, whether she'll come a bit more forward because she says she likes to fight, or whether she's going to maybe just try and counter a little bit more, because she's got the range. But I'm ready for whatever she brings on the night. I'm ready for it.
And you're fighting for the Commonwealth title, is that right?
Yeah.
That must be exciting for you.
Yeah, definitely.
And you stepped up in weight. You're going up to Super Bantam, right?
Yeah, the both of us have come up for this.
Yeah, because of the belt, yeah?
Yeah, I think because it's her team that's organised this, the Bantamweight was somebody's already got that, and they'd seen the Super Bantamweight was vacant. So, they've organised that, got in touch with me. And
how's the popularity in that been for you since you were on the TV? Because women's boxing at the moment is on the rise. You know, it has been for a couple of years. Probably the flag bearer of the sport, I would say, is definitely Katie Taylor. But there's many ladies now that have sort of like taken up the game and really shining. How does it feel to be part of that?
It's amazing. Like, women's boxing has been getting better and better every year over the past few years. And funnily enough, like when COVID and all this pandemic kind of kicked off, I thought it might have been quite hard to get out there. And for me, it's actually been a really good year because we're having to fight people like domestically. There's a lot of women who were all close in weights and we're all kinds of fighting each other. So women's boxing in this country has been like amazing for the past year.
Yeah, you know, we'll give Eddie Hearn a shout out because one thing I would say about Eddie, you know, lots of people have him down as one of the biggest, if not the biggest promoter in UK, but he definitely likes to put ladies on his card. Most cards he has one or two. The last fight when you were out, quote me if I'm wrong, was Savannah Marshall not on that card as well?
Yeah, so Savannah Marshall was fighting Hannah Ranklin for the world title. And then there was actually Ramla Ali. She was boxing and
made her debut.
Well, so yeah. It was a great card to be on for that reason that I weren't the only female bout. There was quite a few. So it's like, and then you've had another fight quite recently with Taylor, Harper and
Rachel Ball
all on the same fight. So it's like history in the making at the minute with women's boxing. And yeah, Eddie Hearn's done amazing. So thanks, Eddie.
Yeah, so have you got a set amount of fights maybe arranged up with them, or does it all depend and hinge on this fight?
I think everything all depends on this fight, what happens now. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Well, mentioning some of those names, you mentioned Rachel Ball a minute ago. The winner of this would obviously be the Commonwealth title holder. And you've got a couple of girls, I think they're fighting maybe a couple of weeks after you, but you should have Rachel, it might be April actually, Rachel Ball back out against Shannon Courtney in a rematch. And I believe if Shannon Courtney comes through a tune-up match first, that will be for a world title. Who do you think would win that fight, the rematch?
So I thought it was really close, to be fair, the first time round. And I might have said that Shannon was just up a little bit. So when Rachel got the decision, I was like, fair enough, I could see it because it was close. So I'm dead unsure, to be honest, who to go. It's one of those, I'd find it hard to call.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, the first fight was close. I think the early knockdown that Shannon suffered kind of went against her, but Shannon definitely believes in winning this rematch. I'm sure she won't take it. And equally, Rachel will think she'll do the same again. You potentially being around their weight, or Amy, whoever wins that, potentially could be in with a shot at a world title.
Yeah, and that's what I've got my eyes on, win this Commonwealth title and then obviously going in for whoever wins this fight.
Yeah, brilliant. Really exciting times for you. Well, look, before I let you go, what about work? Because I think you used to work. I'm not sure whether you're still employed or not, but the boxing's kind of taken over and the training is that important. You're not working at the moment, is that right?
Yeah, so basically I'm a paediatric nurse. And then when I got told about my fight in October, beforehand, obviously it was going up from 4 rounds to 10 rounds. There was a lot of training that was needed, so I had to up everything. So being agency, I could pick and choose my shifts. So we kind of like took a little bit of time out. And then funnily enough, I was probably thinking of maybe starting to do a few more shifts, and then got the news this week about the fight and then thought, well, no, focus on this. So yeah, just focusing on the boxing for now.
And how have work been about that? Because I know if I went to my boss and went, by the way, I can't come to work for a little while because I'm doing something that I want to, they might appreciate what my dream is and want to support me. But equally, if there's a job to be done, have they been okay with it?
Yeah, they've been really good. There's like an agency. So because I weren't paid like on one of the wards anymore, I was agency and I'd always pick and choose. It's very flexible. And when I left the ward originally, all the girls were dead supportive. Like they're always made up, seeing me doing well with the boxing. So yeah, they're just happy to see me doing what I'm doing because they know how much I've wanted it. They used to see me on the boards working when I was doing 12.5-hour shifts, and they'd all be getting all the chocolates for the meeting them, and I'd be sitting there with a rice cake like, no, I'm not joining in with them. They're made up to see all that hard work paying off.
Oh, that's nice. And you say a paediatric nurse, so is that all children there?
Yeah, children.
Are they? So do you know the children well, or do the children come and go?
Yeah, some of them you know really well. We get some. I was on a surgical board, so a lot of them are in and out, but a lot of them are long-term patients as well. So, yeah, a bit of both really.
Reason I ask, I bet they must be really excited. Oh, you're going to be on TV. They'll be watching.
Yeah. Every time I was on, there was always certain girls that would always be saying, "Oh, well, we've got a boxer on the ward." You know, you got like boxing fans on the ward and stuff. So yeah, they were always. Yeah, it was always lovely to see their little faces as well. Especially we had a couple of kids who actually were into the boxing, but they'd gone through surgeries and stuff, and being able to like speak to them and like try and get them to say, well, you'll get better and you'll be able to do it and stuff was really rewarding.
Listen, how nice will it be if you can walk in with that Commonwealth belt and give them some pictures and let them see that? It's a bit of an incentive for you to do that. Have you got children of your own?
Yeah, I've got 2 boys as well.
How old are they?
So my youngest is 8 and my eldest is 14.
Nice. They must love it, do they?
Yeah, my eldest has actually had a couple of fights himself. So he's like, because he's similar weight to me now, and he's actually a little bit bigger than me. So me and him have like sparred and stuff as well. So yeah, it's
you'll be the envy of, you must be the envy of every mum who's going to watch this video. You're the only woman in the world who's going to be allowed to punch a 14-year-old teenager in the face when they do your head in. It sounds brilliant.
I know, it's amazing, but you know what? I think he's the same. Every time my mum's shouting at me, telling me to do in my room, I'm going to get her back in this spot.
Give her a right hook or something, yeah? Good
yeah.
Right, well, look, brilliant chatting to you, Carly. Really, really good. I'm looking forward to your fight next month. Sadly, we probably won't be able to come and see you because, a bit like the fans, it's all behind closed doors. But when things are back to normal, we'll either try and get to one of your next fights or come and see you at your gym. And hopefully for you might have that belt.
Yeah, definitely. Am I all right to just give my sponsors a little shout out as well?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Let me just get me a little list. It's growing, you see.
Good stuff.
So I just want to say thank you to all my sponsors who've helped me on my journey. You just make it so much easier for me, and I'm really grateful. I've got Williamson's Family Butchers, My Body Therapy, Auto Care Repair, SLJ Civils, Cryo Clinic, Liverpool Canine Fertility, Parnell Sports Bar, Sports Involved, Universal Staffing Solutions, and a new one that's just come on board, Dirty Self. Thank you.
Wow.
It literally.
Do you know what? You've got, and again, and I'm not saying it's because of women's, but well, I am, to be fair. I find that sponsors and popularity, like I mentioned 5 minutes ago on women's boxing, is just through the roof at the moment. I interview a lot of people, as you know, and a lot of them maybe 8 fights, 10 fights, even just newly turned pro, and they like to shout out their sponsors, but nowhere do they have that many. You're also from Liverpool. Do you have a good regional support? I know you haven't had much exposure yet to TV, just the one big fight, and that will come with more. Hence why if you win this one, the popularity will rise even more. But you must have quite a good following being from a big city where you're all loyal, like Liverpool.
Cities, like that's exactly what you've just said, is a loyal city. So everybody is just always behind anyone. If they see anyone doing well, they've got your back. So like the messages, especially after my last fight, the messages of everybody in the city, people who I didn't even know, were just sending me them. And yeah, it was overwhelmed, but it's a boss city to come from. They've always got your back, and you can feel the support 100%.
Have any of the seasoned pros out of Liverpool reached out? The Smith brothers, Tony Bellew?
So I've spoken to Teddy Matthews.
Cool.
To come and had a little chat with me before my last fight. Just helped me with like a good training plan and things like that. Probably just him. Regarding to the pros in this city, yeah. But yeah, they've all been really good. I'm
sure that'll all soon change if the result goes your way. Well, look, good luck. Not that I'm sure you'll need luck, and let's look for another great fight again. We'll catch you soon, all right?
Oh, thank you. Speak to you soon.
Cheers, Carly.
Bye. Bye-bye.
If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.